It is Friday, and this is episode 20, and Brick is right here. I'm saying it that way because it's come to my attention from a few folks, including Brick directly, that there's this feeling of not being prominent enough, like high, raised high enough. Well, I'm gonna have to work on that. I realize that you're definitely a core part of the show, and I don't want to diminish that by making it seem like you're just a little, side, pardon me. Don't want it to make it seem like you're an accessory to the show. You are a true member of the show. You have a very distinct point of view, and I realize that you don't get as much airtime sometimes as you deserve. So we'll be working on that. We'll figure it out over the next coming weeks. But let's celebrate the fact that it is Friday. Everybody has now the opportunity, hopefully, most of us anyway, get the chance to take a few days off to decompress. I mentioned last weekend that there may or may not be at least one episode over the weekend. Probably will be, just because things sort of happen and we can't control them. But this week, and specifically for episode 20, I had received a very specific request to talk about things that should be illegal or should be a crime, but are clearly not. And while this list is long and can go on for days and days, and everyone may have some things to weigh in on, which I would love, please feel free to comment. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's really helpful for the channel. It's helpful for me and Brick. And then would love to actually have you as a member of the family. So hit the subscribe button. And then, by the way, bring in more family members. We'll call it our own little Chris and Brick Mafia, and you guys can all be a part of the family. So share the link with your friends and let them know that we want them to come and hang out with us. So I did come up with a list of items that I felt like were relatively common for the most part. Some things might be a little bit more obscure than others, but for the most part, they're pretty common. Also, though, they're in no particular order. And the reason for that is because things, kind of run all over the place. The spectrum of things that are stupid, that should be crimes, that yet somehow people are just able to do, blow me away. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of walk through these, and I may, give a little color to each one so that it gives you some insight as to why I think it should be a crime. And if you agree, by all means, let me know. If you disagree and have an alternative, put it out there. I want to hear it. I mean, I think we need to know. I think not just I want to hear it, not just Brick wants to hear it. And by the way, Brick, this is another one of those this is what you need to know about people, because most of this stuff is people related. And although, by the way, while I say that, if you have any specifically that you would like to throw in from your perspective, I will absolutely be happy to share with the audience and make sure that it gets heard as well. Okay, so that being said, this is the things that should really be a crime. I'm going to actually use an honorable mention one from the discussions yesterday, where we talked about the Greek, Canadian, Hawaiian pizza guy. Basically, Hawaiian pizza should not only be a crime, but it should actually be punishable by a pretty severe sentence of somewhere in the neighborhood of not quite a death sentence, but certainly life in prison. I think that would warrant an adequate response to such a horrid invention. So, honorable mention for Hawaiian pizza. Another one that's a pretty close second in my mind, and there's going to be a lot of controversy along this way, is putting ketchup on steak. Especially if it's, and by the way, for my vegan friends, this is just an element of not being vegan, so you can disregard this one all you want. But when someone has taken the time to prepare an amazing, piece of meat from a cow, or bison, or whatever it is, if you put ketchup on it, you might as well. I mean, I don't know. You might as well just set it on fire and throw it in the garbage can, because it absolutely destroys what the intended flavor was supposed to be, and quite frankly, you're a monster. So that one should be a crime, and it should also incur a pretty stiff sentence. I would say probably you should be punished by being forced to eat only plain white rice for at least 15 years. So while these are also being listed as crimes, you may find that I'm also enacting what I believe are some of the sentences for these crimes. What's another one? Putting the toilet paper on your toilet paper dispenser with the toilet paper facing the wrong way. Now, this is a universal argument, and everyone knows the right answer. Everyone, even you lunatics that do it the opposite way because somehow you've convinced yourself, and no one has done a correct intervention to pull you out of your insanity. But the toilet paper, when it's on the dispenser, should always lay over the top. Always over the top. If it's not over the top, then what we're going to do is come behind you with some handcuffs and carry you off to a prison somewhere where you will be forced to, instead of make license plates, you will be forced to put toilet paper onto toilet rolls until you get it right for all eternity. And then once eternity is over, then you get to do it again. So that is a very, 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 egregious offense. It's absolutely unbelievable, the people that do that. And I feel like they do it half the time really because there's a psychopathic streak in them and they're trying to pick a fight. They want to see if they can get you to, get into a fight with them. Let's see. Anything that has to do with feet. Any shows that advertise feet, men especially, if you're wearing sandals, stop it. And if you're wearing sandals with socks, you actually should be, you have your legs amputated. But no one wants to see your disgusting man feet. They're horrible. They're absolutely rotten, and there's not a redeeming quality about feet, period. And don't get me wrong, there are humans out there that do have attractive feet. That's not the point. That's such a low percentage that the rest of us need to take the cue to cover them up, put on a full pair of shoes, and then just pretend like we don't even have them. They just get us from point A to point B, and it's magic. It's like riding on a magic carpet of shoes. So no more feet exposure, please. And if you do, well, at least a 20-year sentence in solitary confinement with no lights, and certainly your feet will be covered with at least 7 layers of socks that will not be washed the entire time. So, and I don't remember if I said how many years, but a long time, 20 years, let's say, solitary. Here's one that I've discovered that starting to become really obnoxious. But anybody that starts off an actual conversation, and I realize we've made fun of it now, but there are people that use it and aren't using it to make it funny. They're doing it because they're about to give you a line of crap. And it usually starts off with, what happened was, and so if those words even start to come out of somebody's mouth, as soon as you hear is what happened, as soon as they get to that point, you should actually put a big piece of duct tape, so always carry duct tape with you, across their mouth. Do not allow them to speak another word. Do not advise them of their rights, because they'll have none at that point. In fact, this particular crime is one where I do believe that your rights should be completely stripped away, at least for a couple of hours. And then once you get to a CIA black site or, someplace where it's appropriate to handle someone like that, then you can sit down and you can have a conversation about reprogramming your thinking. But what had happened is never, ever an acceptable opening to how you screwed up a situation. And also, by the way, it very, very clearly indicates that you were probably the root cause of the problem to begin with. So you've actually not only committed the crime of saying it, but you probably committed a crime that caused you to want to commit the crime of saying it. So now you're guilty twice. Let's see, just a couple more. This one's really important to me only because over the years, and this will be one of the few podcasts I think where you'll find that I'm gonna really express a little bit of profanity, is the use of the word fuck. Most people that I know use it in a very benign and unemphatic way. It's like they don't understand the value and the impact of the word. That is the most powerful word in the English language, period. End of fucking discussion. You see what I'm saying? The fact that you can make entire sentences out of that one word tells you how much power it has. And if you're found using it in the wrong way, including saying things like frig or frack or whatever, you should get punched in the mouth, your front teeth should be extracted, your tongue should actually be stapled to the bottom of your mouth or something. Well, maybe that's a little too brutal. But point being is you should not be allowed to say the word where your mouth is allowed to form it. So, and then maybe it's just, again, the duct tape scenario, and then we haul you off to a retraining camp where you can be taught how to use the word appropriately. I want a nation of experts on how to use that word. I guarantee you, if we put the nation through a training camp, and I'll lead the training camp. I am an actual fucking expert on how to use this fucking word. And I believe we could actually thwart all conflicts around the world, because people, when they know somebody that knows how to use that word in the appropriate way, back off every fucking time. And so that's how powerful that word is. So enough of that, but I just had to get that off my chest because I hear it so often and it's so weakly used. And I think that, people need to be adequately disciplined for it. So that's a big one. People that complain and do a really crappy job of it, I don't know exactly how to describe this. I guess it's just like somebody who, complains about the most mundane, stupid thing, like, oh, Burr, it's cold. Shut up. Of course it's cold. We all know we were all just out there. Put on a sweater and, get on with your life. I hate that noise outside. We all hate the noise outside. It's called noise. It's obnoxious for a reason. So, distract yourself, put on an earplug, do something, but don't stand around stating the obvious. That's the crime. It's like people that drive down the road and say, oh, look, a cow. Shut up. I know it's a cow. You know it's a cow. What did you think I was going to think? Hey, do you think that might be a zebra? No. It's a freaking cow. Everybody knows it. And I just said freaking, so I've already broken a fucking law. Jesus. Let's see. So, what else? I think the last one, and that may be, I do have a list in front of me here. That's why I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything that I think is important. No, I think those are kind of the key ones. Now, here's the great thing about this episode. This is an episode that can transform into a series, because there's just so many amazingly stupid things that should absolutely be crimes, and then there may be even a list of things that are like, why is this a crime, right? I mean, there's a lot of that going around right now for sure. But in any case, Brick, that's kind of the list of some things that you ought to be aware of. I bet you've seen some of this in your travels. Are there any that you'd like to add yourself? I mean, in the moment? Okay, well, that's getting a little bit deep into the discussion itself, the philosophy of it. We'll talk about that maybe more at a later date. Brick does have some thoughts on it, but it's not necessarily specifically calling out individual, criminally identified actions that people are doing that are not actual crimes. And I think that we really need to take some time. I mean, we have a new person in office, could really take this list, could really make something of this list, and could really make something of himself if he were to honor any of the things in this list, even two of them, especially that F one. So anyway, please feel free again, make a comment if you feel like you have one, throw out any other additional ideas, because I know you guys will have a ton of them. I do thank everybody that has joined and is listening, and if I've offended anyone here, I apologize in the sense of, you might need a little bit of thicker skin. That's all I can say. Because this is life, and sometimes life's a little bit bumpy, and no harm was meant or intended in the filming of this, and certainly no bricks were hurt. But thank you again. So like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if we need to do a follow-up episode. I'm happy to, because I could definitely take this a lot further. As you can see, as we've gone a little longer on this episode, normally they're around 10 minutes. We're just approaching the 16-minute mark. So I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with a happy Friday morning, and look forward to Friday afternoon and, whatever that topic's going to be, which I have a few ideas now. By the way, I did get a request for the schematic of the cat yesterday, so I have since delivered. So I just want to make sure that you know that it's still available. It's free of charge. It's just a document that I can share with you that you can pass on to your family, so that they'll know how to actually confront the evil, manipulative creature that you've invited into your house, known as the feline or the cat. So have a good day, and we will talk soon. Goodbye.